Okay, back up because it's... Each one of these is 24 LEDs at about 15 milliamps, so each headlight is about 360 milliamps. So 3 of them are 1 1/8, and 6 of them are 2 1/4 amps. Of course, that's at 3.5 volts. This is not at 40 volts. But if you look here, this is a solid spinner type. And I put the magnets in the bottom and the coils underneath. So the magnets spin, and it's got about a 10-to-1 ratio, maybe a 7-to-1 ratio. So it's going 10 times as fast as my hand's going around. So if my hand's going 200 a minute, it's going 2,000 a minute. And that's what is producing the light, and you see the control you have with an accelerator in the center of some kind. All right. Now you can look
at the voltage.
At the voltage, because the voltage is going to go up. The highest I've had it is 13. Whoa! I don't have the switch on. See that? How fast it goes up? Okay, it's got about 20,000 milliamps in those 7 capacitors. And I can get it up to 14 volts, 14.5, almost 15. 15! That's the highest I got, almost to 16 volts. So that's the top output of this particular one. And by the way, these are very small magnets and very small coils. I mean, it's 1-inch magnets, 1/4 of an inch thick, and 300 turns of number 26 for the 3-phase thing. That's okay. Okay, so this is the 0 point apparatus. This is a 3/8 inch steel rod on a hard steel base that's in the big one. And it's got a couple of non-magnetic bearings to act as stabilizers, but virtually zero resistance, except rotational resistance of the inertia. And I have an old-fashioned crank shaft on. So this cuts down resistance for 20 or 30 pounds of magnet weight, spinning between two sets of coils. When you get more weight, the wear is greater on the single point. So, you know, it's limited, and yet it's very efficient, and it may fill in for the Western powers before they get rare earth deposits that have been found in Greenland, the coast of Greenland, Baffin Island, and northern Quebec, and come online. Here is a version that I've only built half of, the lower half, of ring magnets. And in this case, with a decent power of the ring magnets, 4 inches is the biggest ones I've used, you can have 1,000 or 2,000 pounds pressing down. So you could stack up these all the way you want and turn them with a little finger at the top, and that's going to be good for trucks, heavy semis, heavy transport in the future. Okay, so the problem here was, you know, you're limited from the outside to maybe 100 revolutions per minute, like a children's tilt-a-whirl in the playground, pushing it from the outside, you know, flipping it. And with a crank here, you get up to 200 or 300. But if you have an accelerator, as you've just seen, on the solid spinner type apparatus, then you can go up to 2,000, 1,500, 2,000. And with fingertip control with the right one. Here's the classic top, which inspired the push-down types. Here's one I call the paddle one. And the paddles, as you dip them down, go toward the middle so it releases. This one needs a stop button or 4 little pins that engage and a cushion on top so that when you press down, it engages and stops the thing, so it drives the magnets, and when you release it and go up, maybe there's a spring or another cushion underneath, rubber cushion, elasticity, it releases and lets it just spin freely until you push down again. Here is those are the first two. Here's a spring wound one, and you've seen them in the kids' toy stores, you know, with electronic things and so on and so forth, very inexpensive, imported from China. And here's a pull cord one, and some of the salad spinner types have the pull cord one, the older ones, right? And, you know, it's modeled after chainsaws and outboard motors and things like that. And finally, there's the salad spinner types. There's several types. But the interesting thing about the salad spinner, besides the acceleration of the center thing here, and you can see the cogs, right, and the handle that you pull around on the type we just used, is the inverted 0 point. The inverted 0 point is a little plastic hill that comes to a point and is enclosed by a little plastic thing at the bottom. They all have that, all types. And it means that you know, when you push down, you need no axle, unlike this primitive type here with the positive 0 point action. And also the plastic is very smooth, so you have virtually no resistance. And that's why it's so easy to turn them very fast. You can see I sketched in some children on the inside of it, and one of them has the knob hanging down from the ceiling, and the other one is pushing the knob in the middle. So, you know, this is, you have a safety door with a safety thing on the outside, you know, so they can't fall out or anything. And this is perfect because the kids around 3 or 4, you'll notice, love to be spun around. They're exercising their body and learning their sense of balance. And so as a kid's toy, generating energy and lighting up the area around them, as they do it, teaches them about energy. And it's a basic toy, much better than the old tilt-a-whirl, you know, whirl-a-jig, carousel, a mechanical thing that we've had, that they had before. And, you know, there's many kinds of devices. You can use one under a little pagoda that has lights going around in a hexagon or an octagon or something, and the kids can do it different ways and light things up too, you know. So, you know, by the year 2050, we hope that the children under 10 years old are generating all the energy needed for lighting and refrigeration and heat in the whole world, you know. Okay, cut. To take part in this battle for peace, you know, with peace weapons, you know, that I've been making for 40 or 50 years, my entire life, you know, that's in favor of all life and the multiplication of all life, not just humans either, you know, and against war and killing, you know, murder, mass murder, which, you know, there's way too much of, and it's got to be eliminated, and it's the thing about fuel and electricity are part of that, you know, and pollution and so on and so forth. They're all murder things of deluded, psychotic people who think they have to do it, of course, you know, that's always the excuse, right? So, you know, this is wonderful for me, particularly today, because this is a completion of something I began way back in the 60s, early 60s in New York, with visions, you know, and have proceeded through all kinds of byways, right, for the last 40 or 50 years. Where's the hole? There it is. I've already had this one hanging up. Okay, so here you see the one application of this in automotive transport. Here are the push-down salad spinner type accelerators that produce several amps of energy. Remember, they only have to take you to 15 or 20 miles per hour because the air resistance of the fluid medium of air will take over from there. And you can see that the passengers can lean forward. It's almost like a drumming group here, right? You're drumming up energy and so on, you know. And here's a top view. showing the things, the top turbines, the front turbine. That's all been proved out in previous videos, right? And one version of the spinners that produce energy without any great effort, you know. So these are the two pump it up models. This is a pump it up that's all air. You've got the air resistance of the front 8 or 9, 10 generators. The top stacks that I've had up to 13 generators on each one, 3-phase, and turn very easily. But instead of the electronic means, you have 2 bags inside aluminum frames here that I'm using, baby's cradle rockers. And they've got vinyl or somewhat better, more elastic plastic bags. And you pump them up from the side. And after you pump them up, you have a petcock that releases the air slowly or more fast at the top. It spins these, which generates the energy, which gets you to 15 or 20 miles per hour. So this is the air pump it up model, and this is the electronic pump it up model. Here you're literally pumping with your hands like you're playing a bongo drum or something, right? And they can be combined. You can have the airbags too, right? And this can be going in the cities, and the people who wash off your windshield at the street corners, you might give them a donation for pumping you up if you have many repeated stops. Or they'll put in batteries. All of these have been tested in previous videos, and the action here to get you the whole question for any transportation system and any propulsion system has been the overcoming the initial inertia and getting you going underway quite quickly. So, you know, that's how we found to do it, you know. And nobody's done it without fuel or batteries before, right? And it doesn't work with batteries. It's too expensive and they wear out. And they're too slow. I mean, this is producing, you know, it's pitiful. The wheelchairs they've got are giving something 200, 300 milliamps, right? And those fast chargers that are closing down because they overheat the batteries are giving maybe 2, 3 amps. I mean, we could produce 8 amps here for each one just with a simple motion, right? With the multiplication of the accelerators. So, you know, it's nonsensical to use batteries anymore, but they'll put them in. They'll put them in. They'll put in, but at least make them the size of a computer, a laptop computer. You know, 2 laptop computer batteries on one side and 2 on another. You know, they're 15 volts, up them to 24, so they're 48 volts a piece. And, you know, you don't need thousands of dollars worth of batteries. You know, you get, what is it, a couple of hundred of batteries, if you have to keep batteries. So when I show them this to me is just simply unbelievable. That you're producing the energy of propulsion by pressing on what was the gas pedal, you know, is beyond belief. Okay, here's one of the salad spinner types, right? And you take your foot and it starts to spin. And if you have the magnets and the coils there, it's producing energy. And that energy is driving the car forward if you have an adequate amperage output, right? And you can have 2 of them too, right? But what's interesting is that you don't have to pedal all the time. See, it's still going and you can start pedaling after. Now, primarily it's used for the initial acceleration. And it leaves your hands free. Your hands are free to be on the wheel with both hands and to use switches or buttons on the wheel. But also, if you have a strong headwind, you can start doing this at any time. And with 2 small dials, one giving the output of this and one giving your total output of all of your systems, you know, you can like accelerate, say, for passive. You want to pass, so you got to do this fast and build up the amperage. You know, it's unbelievable that your foot pedal is driving the car. I once suggested that air bellows do it, and I never was able to get them to produce anything like this amount of energy. Something seems wrong with this one. Oh no, 5.7. It's going up. I got it on 200 instead of 20, so it's, you know.
We'll put them on the same scale.
No, don't, because it's going to pass 20, I think. That's the one that was giving much more energy than the other one. See, I'm really working out here, right? Just to get it going. Okay, we're at 10. I turned it on when we got at 12. So get ready now. You see the magnets, the size of the magnets? That's 500,000 gauze. And those are 1200s underneath turns, and on the top is 826 turns. So this is heavy duty stuff, right? The only thing is it's going too slow. Okay, it's at 14. Each one is at 14. Now that's a 10 million candle power light. Yeah, it drained it, and this turned over, you know, it was on the point of collapse, but it lit, right? Right? So that's a lot of amperage, you know, even though some of it was stored in these large things. Anyway, this revealed to me that even with 0 point and a faster turn, you needed an accelerator in the middle. And I was lucked into discovering my video guy here, my teen, mixing a salad in the cafe, turning it with a broken handle with a knife, a butter knife. And my eyes bugged out of my head, and I said, that's an accelerator. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, yeah. They sell them all over. I said, where do you get one? Where do you get one? You know. So I've been getting them in and wiring them in. As far as I know, that's the first time ever for using that those plastic solid spinner types to produce energy. But it ain't going to be the last time. If I'll do it and other people are going to do it, I hope you all do it and put it in your gardens for your grandchildren, and they can contribute the light to the garden and the parks, and cut. We have one thing left to do. Okay, to show you how this is constructed, you lift off the top, just like you have a lettuce in there, and there's the magnets on a sheet of plastic embedded with glue glued into place, and you lift out the basket, and there's your three-phase generator coils. So when you lower the basket, it goes over the inverted 0 point inversion, which allows this to spin very easily, and that's how it was lighting up all of those LEDs, the 144 LEDs you saw. Okay, this is the development of automatic machines, and one of the interesting things is that multicolored ones from 1895, and this is at a time when alternating current was being invented, and three-phase generators. So they were color coding it, and you can see in our little device up there that I was color coding it. And you can win money. They have payouts. You do this and you take a chance, blah, blah, blah. And here they've got 3. Oh, there's Mickey Mouse in 1914. I guess it was on The Simpsons show. This is 10 years before Walt Disney. Oh, well, the Americans were stealing ideas. Nobody had a patent they gave a damn about, except maybe the English. Okay, so now it's a 3-arm bandits, right? And it's giving jackpots. But it also gives products. So, you know, you can see it advancing. Here's another one. And here's one with 5 or 6, room for 6 in 1935. You know, it had developed to 6 of them, and then it went underground. And why did it go underground? Here, you got the purple code of the Germans, right? And you got the English developing the first computer with Boolean logic, which is a simulacra of the 8 rotating things, the different combinations. So you can see that, you know, this is all intertied. Here's music with automatic jukeboxes, right? And these have been replaced by digital stuff long since, right? And in everybody's hand walking down the street. So even shocks. They even you paid in a penny or something for getting a shock. It was called the shock treatment that would like liven you up. So my point is that you go to a supermarket now and they'll pay you for recycling cans and they'll pay you for recycling plastic and material things, even coins now, you know, because they're phasing out currency. But that's all material. They recycle the material. But what about energy? If they have a machine like this, they can have a meter on it because they've had automatic meters. That's how they charge for grid energy. And as you do your cell spinner there, type acceleration, and you generate 110 power, you can have a timer and it dispenses money to you just like they do for the tin cans. So you can't call it recycling because it's called cycling. You're creating the energy right there and you're getting paid for it. And, you know, they had it illegal to give currency, so they gave tokens. Tokens that were good in that shopping mall or that store in Paris or so on and so forth, right? If it wasn't legal to give currency. So you can you generate some energy, you go into the store, you buy your sugar, your tea, your coffee, whatever, you know, and you're contributing to the energy, doing the lighting, and the freezers for the ice cream and so on, and then frozen products. And, you know, so the half that are unemployed in the West, there's no sign they'll ever be employed again by manufacturing because it's so automated, will produce the energy, and the other people going to factories still will produce the material goods, and it all balances. You see what I mean? And, of course, you know, exercise things. Why should the middle class be paying to do exercises? Oh, boy, it's really a mark of high distinction to be paying to go to a club like it used to be for a golf club or something, or to play tennis. Now, here's an example of the factory in 1903, here in my city of Montreal, that we're building the turbines for the first St. Lawrence Rapids dams. And you can see that they're about 3-4 feet in diameter. And at the time, magnets were about 1/20th the power of the ones that you saw me using right here. So you reduce the 3 feet down to 9 or 10 inches, and you got the devices I've been showing you, right? And the devices that can be put in right everywhere. Restaurants, people could like generate energy. Pinball machines, you know, they got pinball machines in the other book, you know, besides jukeboxes and everything else. Every dispenser can be generating energy. The children can be doing it in the playgrounds with their toys. Somebody accused me of saying, oh, he wants to send children to work. An Irish guy, right? No, this isn't the 19th century with chaining kids and sending them down in the mines. This is their toys. Are you listening, Fisher-Price? You got a lot of plastic stuff that is like sitting around the yards and being thrown away and recycled. You got a lot of things with batteries. You don't like batteries. Well, this is a way to get rid of the batteries. Do some generating, energy generating toys. You're doing things that use batteries that make music and so on and so forth. Do things that the kids can, they want to contribute. The children. Look, we're wasting 99.9% of the energy coming in from the sun, the fire energy, heat. We're wasting 99.8% of the air. We're wasting 97% of the water. You know, and now we're wasting away the muscles of the population, right? The earth, our earth's bodies are being wasted away by complete idleness. Right? Sitting there, I mean, they're crippled, and they're executing the cripples like euthanasia, sitting in front of the TV and driving a motor car, you know, wrenches their back. And damn GMO food And the MSNs, the additives and whatnot, are making them fat like slugs, you know. This is a way to cure the world and save the life on the planet. All these guys, they talk about, oh, the wine glass is half full or half empty. We now have gas. Natural gas is a fuel. It only makes half the pollution of oil, right? And they talk about this, is there global warming, this and that. Hey, buddy, you take your granddaughter and you put her in front of a semi's exhaust for 5 minutes within 2 feet and have him like gun the gas, and then you go out and volunteer for immediate execution or commit suicide. You know, it's bullshit. You're killing people. And you're trying to bullshit it away with, oh, it must be necessary, oh, there's no alternative to this, that, the other. Oh, bad effects aren't happening. We know bad effects are happening. And stop the damn, you know, against tobacco and this and that and the other thing, and warning about the food additives when you got something like an oil car going that's killing people. All you're doing, the medicine is colonialized empire medicine. You know, you wiped out all of the primitive people's medicine. The Indians were using tobacco as their basic medical supply delivery system. That and body paint. And you've taken them away and turned them into poisons, you know, in order to shoot people up. And then you've got the cops out searching for all the people that are shooting up so you can put them in prison and have them as slaves, you know, unpaid slaves, right? You know, it's total insanity what you're doing. Hey, cut.